I'm Mallory Varner with GSG, and I'm the Vinyl Decorating Segment Manager. Today I'm going to show you some various items you can sublimate using the Epson F570 dye sublimation printer. So the Epson F570 dye sublimation printer is a 24-inch printer. The great thing about it is it's a bulk ink system. So if you're just getting into it, or you want to just add on and have something a little bit smaller, not a huge sublimation printer, this is a great go-to dye sub printer. So the bulk ink system, like I talked about, is wonderful. So you can refill it, so your cost per print is way less expensive than a typical smaller entry-level sublimation printer. Also with the Epson F570, you can use either rolls or sheets, which is awesome because sometimes you just want a small job or you want to try a specialty type of paper and you don't want to load the roll in the back, you want to use the sheets. So that's really cool about this. The other thing is there is a catch basket underneath that is an add-on that you can use if you're busy and you just want to print multiple things. It will cut after each print, so that way it just catches it for you if you're busy doing other stuff in your shop. So today I'm going to show you some of the different things that you can do. I'm going to kind of highlight mainly on schools. I think one opportunity is maybe you're doing a banner for a school, or you're doing like core plus signs or something like that for them, and you're wondering how else do I get more of their business. So today I'm going to show you some of the different substrates that you can do that you can sublimate on. I know a lot of people when they think about sublimation, they think immediately I can only do t-shirts. Well, that's not true. There's a ton of substrates you can do, anywhere from lanyards to coasters to mouse pads, license plates, pop sockets, stuff like that. So we're going to kind of go through a lot of those today and just kind of show you how, again, you can expand your business and capture everything you can out of one customer. One thing I think that's always important is remember what accessories you need when you are doing sublimation. So always a pair of scissors. This will cut at the end of your project that you're printing, but it won't trim around it. So I know a lot of you have roll-ins or, and you're used to that cutting around. This won't. So you want to have some scissors, make sure you can cut around it. TT35 thermo tape. I use this all the time just to make sure that my image is exactly where I want it to be. I always recommend this. Also craft paper. You will ruin the bottom of your heat press if you do not have some craft paper for that extra ink around it, because you like to make your image a little bit larger than the actual substrate that you're pressing on, just to make sure you get all the way to the end. I also use a Teflon sheet just to kind of protect the top of the substrate. And then a lot of people use heat gloves. It depends on what you're pressing, but let's say you're doing like a ceramic tile or a ceramic car coaster, you want to make sure you have a heat glove because it gets very, very hot, so you want to protect your hands. So the last thing that you want to have is a tape measure. Just when you're ordering different substrates that are dye sublimation blanks, you want to measure it. Even though online it might say, as you're purchasing a Koozie or anything like that, it might say it's this amount or whatever, but a lot of these are hand sewn items, so you want to make sure that you actually measure it and get your eye on it and make sure it's the exact size that you're doing. That also helps when you're loading it into the Epson F570, when you're deciding on which size you're going to print, that you have those exact measurements out. So with the Epson F570, I know a lot of you, like I said, have done HP or Roland or anything like that, the wide format printers. You're used to a RIP software or their software. The great thing about the Epson F570 is it's just driver based, so it's also for PC and Mac. So it's really your preference. The great thing, like I said, is it is a driver, so you just hit preferences, you'll select everything. You can do your nozzle checks from it, your cleaning, everything like that from that preference box. And then when you go to print it, it will still show that preview and it pops up the Epson driver software to make sure it's printing the way you want it to. So really cool stuff with this printer, so I'm excited to get started. Thank you again for joining us, and let's see what we got going. So first we're gonna do some Koozies. These are just like basic neoprene type Koozies. So I'm gonna do like what I told you. I'm gonna tape this design down just so it can stay center. This is the thermo tape that I talked about. And with dye sublimation, you wanna always make sure that you put the paper up. That way presses the design right into the substrate. And depending on the substrate, your temperature and time is definitely going to change. I am lucky today, everything that we are going to be using is the same temperature. Time will adjust a little bit, you know, anywhere from 35 to 60 seconds today, but most of the stuff that I'm doing is kind of soft, so it's a little bit different. Sometimes when you get some of those harder substrates, you definitely need a longer temperature just to make sure that ink goes in. So after this is the craft paper, then I have this down, I have it taped, and I'm gonna put a Teflon sheet over it just to protect it. And I'm gonna go ahead, I'm doing 400 degrees for 45 seconds. I'm using the Hotronix Fusion heat press. I personally love this one versus some of the other ones, mainly because it's like one smooth press, so the temperature and pressure is the same from start to finish. It also swings away. If you want to move it this way, it'll swing away, or you can pull it out, which I really like. So let's see how these koozies turn out. All right, like I said, if your hands are sensitive, you definitely want to have a heat glove. So you're gonna remove your Teflon sheet, and we're gonna move this. Oh, these turned out so cute. So I said koozies, I meant coasters. But how cute did these turn out? All right, so next we're gonna do some mouse pads. This is a great thing for teachers or for, like I was talking about earlier, you know, if it is a corporation and they want all of their employees to have matching mouse pads, or, you know, it's also a great gift when you're hiring someone and you want to, you know, give them like a welcome gift besides just a polo or anything like that. This is a great company thing. I know I have a GSG mouse pad that I use every day that I think I got when I started the company like 8 years ago. So I think it's always a great item you can add on. We all use computers. And definitely something that someone's gonna use every day. So I highly recommend adding these on. Inexpensive and a unique thing to have personalized. All right, so same time and temp for this one. It's just like the coaster and the way that it's what it's made of, so it kind of works out. I like to try to do similar items, similar substrates, just so I'm not changing my heat press all the time. See how this one turned out. It turned out good. This might be a good teacher gift for one of our kids. Oh, I love these colors. One thing about sublimation that I think is so cool is how dull it kind of can look on the paper and how bright the colors look once you press it. I thought that turned out really awesome. All right, so this one I'm gonna do some of these skinny koozies. They are great for bottled waters and you know, any of those like slim cups, like the Yeti ones, but they have like the smaller ones. I really like these slim koozies. They're super popular right now. And I was talking about earlier about the Fusion heat press. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about it, why this is pressing. All right, so you can adjust the pressure by twisting this. So if I went to the left, it's gonna push it down more. To the right, it's gonna lift it up. Then you can go in and hit here, and you can have different settings ready to go. So like I have a dye sub, I have an HTV, and then I have certain HTVs. So whether it's like glitter or, you know, basic or anything like that, you can customize it and save different ones on here and label it. So that way every time, you know, it's the same setting regardless of what you're doing. So when you're in a shop, let's say, you know, employee comes in and they want to press, it's just kind of there ready for them to go. They just have to hit dice of this or HTV this, whatever. So it's always loaded and ready to go, which is really nice. All right, let's see how these koozies turn out. It's a little warm. That turned out really cool. I love all these fun colors in here. All right, look at that one. I think that turned out really cool. And it's neat to see that faded look just pop. I love it. All right, so this pillowcase I'm gonna do right now for the Blue Devils. And it is wider than my heat press, but I wanted it to just be like 16, just so when it curved around. Usually when you're doing something like this or like a full dye sublimation, you definitely want to make sure that you have, that you can have some of that cuts and sews. But just for this example, I wanted you to see now, I'm doing one for my daughter and it's just hearts on it. So it's just in the center and it's a smaller pillow. So that's definitely easier. There are other size platens with the Fusion if you wanted to go smaller or anything like that. So, but I just wanted to show y'all with sublimation, just what all you can do. And with that is pillowcases. I think that's an easy home decor item that you can definitely upcharge and is really unique to have either your name on it or maybe the town you're in, or like I said, a school, which I think is pretty cool. It turned out super cool. I really like how bright. Like I said earlier, the colors come out every time. It still amazes me. So if you get a pillow, like this is a 16 by 20 heat press, 18 by 18 pillowcase. So if you wanted to get, 16 by 16, it's a really neat way to customize a pillowcase, whether it's for Christmas, a company logo, a school, anything like that. All right, so I'm gonna do some lanyards now. I did these half lanyards, which I thought were a little bit different. I'm gonna do like football on one side and then just the Go Lake logo on the other side. They also have the neck lanyards, and then what's really popular right now is the lanyards that hold your face mask. I know kids have a hard time keeping it on all day. Our kids have to wear it from when they get on the bus until they get home from school. So I think that's neat to have a lanyard for that. It just keeps it, that it's not falling on the ground or anything throughout the day if they have to, when they're eating lunch or, they're not setting it on a table. So that is one cool option. All right, so I'm gonna press this side first and then we'll turn it around and press the other side. All right, so I just did two separate ones just so you could see the difference. So if you did Go Lake on one, football on the other, you could do Senior 2021, you could do Go Lake Teacher, or just the Go Lake logo all throughout. So, or customize it per person. I mean, you're printing anyways. You could upcharge for that just to have Go Lake and then maybe their name on it, something like that. All right, so I am going to kind of contradict myself here for a second. One thing, my husband was helping me make some masks, and for a charity golf tournament, we were making them, and he didn't do what I told him and put the paper on top. So it actually turned out awesome, but it depends on the substrate for sure. We've tried it with other substrates and it definitely does not work and is not as vibrant of color. With our Eco, the 1-ply face masks, it actually turns out pretty awesome. So it helps when you're trying to line something up and you want to make sure that you get it centered and right where you want it. It's kind of nice to kind of mix it up. So just a little trick with our Eco face mask, you can kind of not do what you're supposed to do. So I'm going to do an adult Eco face mask, and I'm lining that up how I want it. Again, pretty cool. You actually get to see it. So you're going to switch what you would do normally if you're doing it this way. You want to put your Teflon sheet on the bottom to protect it, and then your craft paper on top. That way the extra ink goes to the craft paper just like if it was flipped around. All right, let's see how this face mask turns out. All right, let's see how the cheater face mask turned out. That turned out so cool. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I had a great time. I love trying out some different substrates and all the interesting and fun things that you can do with the Epson F570. To learn more about dye sublimation or the Epson F570, visit our website at gogsg.com or call 1-800-366-1776.